What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down what it takes to be a five-star wide receiver. So I hope this video can give you guys some insight on the whole recruiting process, the star system, and why stars are not the most important thing. So again, hope this video helps you guys out, but also, fellas, if you are a wide receiver or a quarterback and would like to train with us this offseason, we are coming out to 8 more states across the U.S. for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. Next up on our camp tour, we will be coming out to Honolulu, Hawaii, then Boston, Massachusetts. Both of those camps are completely sold out, but then we'll be heading out to Cleveland, Austin, Seattle, Newark, Denver, and Los Angeles. So all of those camps will sell out, fellas. So if you guys want some more information on how you can sign up, we would love to have you there. Check out that very first link in the description below. Again, that very first link below for all the info to sign up. Let's get started with this video. So now, first things first, like I mentioned before, stars are not the most important thing in the world. I think you should never set out as a recruit to, try to get stars. Oh, my goal is to, I'm going to earn a couple stars this offseason. I'm going to go to camps and get ranked. That should never be your goal. But if you're anything like myself or anything like other athletes across the country, you wonder what's the difference? What makes these guys five-star guys? And that's what we're going to be talking about today, and how you could try to add some of these skills to your game to help you out in the recruiting process. So the first thing I want to talk about, this is five-star wide receiver here out of South Florida, Jeremiah Smith. So he's going to be running this kind of fade ball, goal line fade, going up for the top and making this one-handed catch. Now, I am not saying that you guys have to make these types of catches, because that is an insane, just freak play. Not everybody can make that type of catch. However, what you do need on your highlight tape is tough catches. So many times wide receivers will make the mistake, and they make it time and time again, of just including, oh, well, I had a big gain, or, I had a big play, whatever it might be. And they will put it on their highlight tape and they think that it's a highlight. That's not a highlight in terms of a Division I college coach's eyes. What they want to see is they want to see plays that they don't expect you to make. So I'm not saying that you have to make this one-handed type catch, but they want to see you going up in double coverage, catching a 50-50 ball, a back shoulder pass, a diving catch over the middle. And it's not just Smith who has these types of plays on his film. It is every single five-star guy, probably every single four-star guy that you see ranked has these types of plays. These are explosive plays that they make. And so this is what you want to try to include. Now, a lot of wide receivers will make the mistake of including every single catch on their highlight tape, into a 7, 8, 10-minute long clip. All just, these are all my plays. And it's every single reception they got on the year. Those aren't highlights. And a college coach is not going to watch 7 to 10 minutes of film. He's going to watch maybe 30 seconds to 1 minute, and he is going to know right away. He's going to have his mind made up if you're a recruitable guy or not. And these are the plays that you have to be able to make. And you look at Smith's film, they're everywhere. So I'm going to play this again full speed, then we're going to show another example of a five-star wide receiver making this type of catch. Now, some of you might be thinking it's easy for that guy because he's 6'3", runs a 40. And yes, and we're going to talk about height, weight, speed all throughout the course of this video. But even if you're not tall, even if you're not the biggest guy on the field, fastest guy on the field, you can still make those types of plays. You come over the middle, you make a catch while you're getting hit. That's a highlight as well. It's not all about just making wide open catches, because that's not a highlight, fellas. There are thousands of receivers across the country that can do the exact same thing. So now this is a clip here from Mike Matthews. He's another five-star wide receiver. So he's going to be catching this fade ball downfield, but I want you to see again, ball's thrown a little bit out of reach, guys grabbing on his arm. This is the type of catch that guys want to see. And again, on these five-star, four-star guys all over their film, they have these types of plays. Am I saying you need to make the one-handed catch? No. But I'm saying you need to be able to make that over-the-shoulder catch with a guy right on your hip. So something, because again, I could tell you to make these plays all day long, but what are some of the things that you can do to work on it, right? And it's going to come down to the same things as always. You have to rep it out. You got to know the right situation to make these types of like for example, we're going to talk a lot about route running and moves and stuff like that over the course of this video. You have to know the right situation to make those moves, the right situation to use those things that we teach you, but also you have to rep out these types of situations. Get with the quarterback, work over the shoulder catches. You need to do it over and over and over again. So in a game, it's just a habit, and you can make these types of plays. As I guarantee you, these five-star guys, yes, they have size, yes, they have speed, but I guarantee you they've done it over and over and over again, a million times, because that's how you get better at a skill, especially if you're not naturally gifted like some of these guys might be. So let's play this again full speed. And again, this is a t-shirt and shorts environment, but I recommend for all of you guys, if you're really, really curious about how these guys play football, go check out their film. Like literally just search up five-star wide receivers, go to YouTube, go to Twitter, whatever it is, try to find their highlights and just watch some of the plays that these guys make. Now, some guys, I'm going to tell you this right now, are not warranted, in my opinion. Not this class, this recruiting class, class 2024 has some dudes, and that's all the guys that are going to be in this video. But in the past years, I feel like there are a lot of receivers who maybe aren't warranted that 5-star ranking. Just because they're big and just because they're fast, they get labeled that 5-star. But you see it now. So many wide receivers are evolving because the game is getting more, I don't want to say like receiver dependent, but receiver dependent, because the offenses in college are constantly changing. They're moving to that air raid, throw the ball 30, 40 times a game system. So you need good receivers to throw the ball 30, 40 times a game. And you need guys who can get open. You need guys who can make plays. You need guys with speed. That's what guys are recruiting. And that's why you see these 5-star ranked guys now all have that in common. Now, and again, like I said, some of you are probably not going to be 5-star, 4-star, even 3-star guys, because it's a very uncommon thing to do. It's very uncommon to be able to play Power 5 football. But if you can include these types of plays and your goal is just to get your college paid for, go to college, play football in college, and you have these types of plays on your film, that's going to make you stand out to a whole bunch of coaches, not just the Power 5 type schools. But again, these are the reasons why these guys are so highly recruited, okay? Now, this next example, I want to talk to you about speed. So this is that same wide receiver we showed in the first example, Jeremiah Smith, right? Out of South Florida, receiver hotbed. And I want you to see how fast he gets into this route, because he is 6'3". Everybody lies, when they fill out those forms, but he looks like he's a true 6'3". And the way he is able to move, the way he's able to hit top speed, that's like a guy that's going to turn heads. And I think a lot of people are fed the wrong information when it comes to recruiting, right? Like I think like a lot of people, think, oh, I'm going to go to this camp, I'm going to go to that camp, I'm going to get noticed, I'm going to perform really well, college coach is going to notice me. But when you go, like, let's put this into perspective. Let's say you want to go to a college camp this year, and you want to go to like let's say University of Miami's having a camp. You want to go, you're a wide receiver, and you go to that camp. You're going to see, number one, they probably are going to have 100+ wide receivers at that type of camp. Maybe not 100, but definitely over 50, I would say. And you're going to see some very fast guys. You're going to see some very tall guys, and it's going to be very, very tough for you to stand out unless you're 6'3" and can run like Smith. Right? That's honestly in that type of setting, that is how you turn the most heads. And that's why he turns a lot of heads, because he can do that. But what he does have in common with a lot of the other top recruits is that his film backs it up. Right? And a lot of people think that, oh, I'm just going to get by, I'm going to go to camp and just get offered right on the spot. It's not how it works, guys. You might turn some heads if you're that tall receiver, fast receiver. But at the end of the day, it's what you can do when the pads come on, because the film will not lie. And everybody can lie about their height. Everybody can lie about their 40 time. But the one thing that remains true for every single recruit, no matter what position, is the film. What plays can you make on film when the pads are on? You're going up against a live defense. 7-on-7 is great. Camps are great. But what can you do when the pads come on? What if a guy's real good t-shirt and shorts because he knows he's not going to get hit? Then you put him into a game, contact involved, suddenly he's not that great. So these next two clips we're going to look at here are from two 5-star wide receivers. Again, this is going to be Jeremiah Smith. Then we're going to be looking at Micah Hudson out of Texas. Okay, so this is one of the better plays that I've seen on a receiver's highlight tape. And this is, again, what one of those D1 coaches look for in their wide receiver recruits. They look for guys who can extend the play and get yards after the catch and yards after contact. This is one of the best plays. If you have a play like this, it should be number one on your highlight tape. Because a lot of receivers, what they'll do is they'll include plays just because it's a reception. They'll run like a post route. They'll get a reception. It'll be maybe a 12-yard gain, but the guy just ankle bites them, tackles them, and then that's that. On to the next play. That's not a highlight, fellas. There's 1,000 other wide receivers that can make that exact same play. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, those are the only plays that I have. Well, then we need to be having a different conversation about how you can make bigger plays, what you can do to get better, rather than worrying about exposure and people looking at you. Because, yes, you got to get out to camps, you got to build relationships with coaches, but that highlight tape is not going to make you stand out to the level of coach that these guys are standing out to. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, listen, who's to say that a smaller school, and if that's your goal, great, a smaller school might see it, they might like it, they might see you at a camp, but at the end of the day, you need film that's explosive. And I know a lot of you guys have goals to play at a very high level of college football, and these are the types of plays that they need to see. So you see, again, Smith catches this ball, takes a slant, breaks up and turns the slant up, breaks a tackle, and then you see the open speed, taking an 80-yard slant rather than a 20-yard gain. That is what they want to see. Now, you might ask, well, how can I work on stuff like that? And again, it helps to be 6'3". It helps to be extremely fast, be extremely smooth the way he moves. But again, there are things that you can work on to help you break tackles, to help you with explosion. So something that you should be focusing on as a wide receiver in the offseason, because again, you're going to have to break tackles, leg strength, and explosive movements in the gym. Right? That's why it's so important that wide receivers lift specifically for their position. Like, why are wide receivers, doing curls, doing shoulder press, bench? Like, well, all that stuff's important. I get it. But does that really help you on the field? Does that really showcase this? Wide receivers who are doing the box jumps, the explosive movements, the power cleans, they're in a squat rack, doing front squats, building up strength and stability in their lower half with, one-legged exercises. That's what translates to the field. That's what's going to help you break a tackle. That's going to help you make somebody miss. It's going to help you outrun a defender, which are all the things that show up on film. So this is why so many wide receivers don't actually perform on the field, because they want to go out and do the flashy drill work, but they don't want to actually do the hard stuff that's going to translate to the on-field play. You have to, and again, it's a mixture of both. We get a lot of questions about guys like, oh, well, should I work out more in the gym this year? Should I work out more on the field? How do I split up my days? The answer is both, you guys. You have to do, especially if you have a lot of work to do, especially if you don't have any kind of film to show for your skills, you have to do those things, because that's what sets up for these types of plays. You're not just going to walk out there and make these types of plays. You're not just going to practice a few times a week on the field and then expect for it to just show up when you guys play. That's not how it works. You're going to have to do the pre-work. You're going to have to do speed work. You're going to have to work in the gym to work on your strength, your explosion, your stability. You're going to have to run routes to the quarterback. You're going to have to work on your hands. And it seems like a lot of work, but if you're one of those guys that's not naturally gifted and blessed with size and speed, then you're going to have to do those things if you even want to crack the surface on getting a college coach's attention. That's just a fact of the matter, how it is, and that's the truth. So again, these are the types of plays. If you have these plays should be first on your highlight tape. They don't want to see you catch a 10-yard dig and fall down. They want to see you catch a slant and turn it up and go score and break a tackle. Now, this next example here is from Micah Hudson, wide receiver out of Texas. And this is one of the best plays I've ever seen in high school football. Flat out, one of the best plays I've ever seen. And again, I'm not saying that you have to make this exact type of play, but I want you to look at all the factors that he showcases on just one single play of film. Because this is the first play on his highlight tape. This is the play that when you search his name, this is the play that comes up probably 30 times. And again, a college coach is going to have his mind made up within the first 30 seconds of your highlight tape. If you're a guy that's going to fit into his program, if you're the type of receiver, because you got to think about, like, let's say, for example, you have a goal to play at like the University of Wisconsin, right? Let's say that. You know how many talented wide receivers have come through that school? You know how many talented wide receivers their offensive coordinator, their receiver coach, their head coach has seen, right? Just even if they've been to other schools. So they know what a Division I wide receiver looks like. And they're going to be able to tell as soon as they put on your highlight tape. And this is the difference between these 5-star guys, 0-star guys. It's these types of plays. So let's watch this full speed. So he catches the ball, Hudson, again, breaks a tackle, makes some people miss, makes about 4 people miss, breaks another tackle, I'd say. You see his speed. He slips back underneath. And then you see the acceleration. He's jogging, and then he just puts the burners on and outruns everybody. That is one of the best high school football plays I have ever seen, and these are the types of plays that a Division I coach wants to see. Just fact of the matter. And again, you don't have to make this exact play, but if you can showcase your open field speed, breaking a tackle, getting yards after the catch, those are huge and help your case immensely. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about, this is another example from Mike Matthews, another 5-star wide receiver. Again, this is the same guy we showed with that one-handed catch at the Rivals Combine. Now, one thing I want to talk about that's super important, that if you're a wide receiver and you're maybe on the shorter side of things, maybe you're a taller guy and maybe you're not the fastest in the world, your route running is one of those things nowadays that can really, really separate you from the competition, because not a lot of wide receivers know how to run routes. And it's something that is getting more and more valuable as the wide receiver position gets a little bit more popular, more flashy, because again, we talk about offenses and how they've changed over time. At the college level, it's all about air raid, spread, get the ball. You need a good quarterback. You need good receivers, and you throw the ball 30, 40 times a game. Quarterbacks are throwing 300 yards. They need guys who can get open. They need guys who can separate. So you being able to run good routes in a camp setting like this, calculated routes, is another way to maybe turn some heads. And you can showcase that on your film as well. So we're looking at Mike Matthews here running this route. He's running a post route, showcases his stack, shows a rocker step at the break point. That is a very fluid route. If you're a coach outside looking in, you think, okay, this guy knows how to run routes. Because, you know, what a lot of high school wide receivers will do here is they'll run this post route, and you see it in one-on-ones all the time, and it bothers me, is that guys will take this inside release, and then they just drift inside, they break to the post, and they're catching the ball on the opposite hash. Yeah, you might be fast. Yeah, you might have lost the guy at the line, but is that really a game-realistic route? Does that showcase that you know how to run routes? Probably not, right? But you look at this example, he's dipping his shoulder, he's staying low, he's stacking over the top. All the things that we talk about on this channel, fellas, all the things that we try to teach you guys so you can actually be prepared for these situations. Top of the break, he uses a rocker step, fakes like he's running a corner, selling the route with his upper half, his cuts are explosive. These types of things, fellas, all the videos that we post over and over again about receiver technique, releases, stacking, all that stuff matters. And a lot of people neglect it. A lot of people want to try it a couple times and then they don't rep it out consistently. But you see it. This is how you turn heads. Again, it's about probably, I would say, 4 specific things when it comes to getting recruited as a wide receiver. Number 1, and I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that this mattered, your size and your speed. You can improve your speed. You can't really worry too much about your size. Height can't really control, but your speed you can absolutely work on. Doing explosive movements, running with sleds, running up hills, all of those things. Get a speed coach. Run track if you have a good track program at your high school. That will help your speed. And then 2, you got to be able to make explosive plays, so breaking tackles, yards after the catch. 3, tough catches. Those are huge, huge plays for you. And then route running, fellas. And route running comes from having good football IQ, repping out the different movements, knowing the route tree, working with quarterbacks, working on your timing, all of those things. All these 5-star guys have somewhat in common. Everybody's a little bit different. Everybody has their own spin on things, I would say. But for the most part, nowadays, that's what those top-tier wide receivers all have. And if you don't have those things and you're sitting there with maybe not the most recruiting attention, that's stuff that you can absolutely work on to throw your hat in the ring and maybe get a couple eyeballs. All right, fellas, I really want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We always appreciate the feedback. It's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, if you would like to come out and train with us in 8 more states this offseason that we are traveling out to, check out that very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out. All of these camps will probably sell out within the next month, so we'd love to see you there. Again, very first link in that description below. I'll see you guys next time.